Hey guys, Jerry Smith here with another garden update, and I'm going to start over here on the side of my house like I've been doing for the past few weeks. So over here on the side of the house I've got my tomatoes and some onions. I tried to plant some beets in here a few weeks ago, but they didn't take. I think it's too late in the season, it's too hot, and they didn't germinate. I also tried to do the same thing with carrots, and they didn't take. It might also have been a watering issue because I didn't have irrigation set up in here before, but I just recently, let's see if I can find out where this spot is. Here it is. And you see I plugged in the line there, and I've got a line going all the way down here, and a second line right here. So I got that line and the second line there. So this whole area I don't have to hand water anymore, which is pretty nice. As you can tell, the tomatoes plants are doing just fine. And you probably noticed these trellises. There's one here, and there's one right down there. Eventually I'm going to put some chicken wire to connect the two, and then I'm going to have all the tomatoes that are in this area trellised, either up the wooden trellises or up the chicken wire. So that's cool. But yeah, everything looks good and healthy. Plants are growing nice and strong. Don't have any suckers yet, but when I start growing some suckers, I'll make another video about how to snip those off and why we'll want to prune the tomato plants, especially with as densely planted as I have them in this section. You normally wouldn't see people planting tomato plants this densely, but I'm okay with it because I have a way to manage the space. So anyways, go off to the back of the house. I still need to move these big sunflower plants to the front yard. I've just not done it yet, but they're there. They're ready. Went and got some plant starts a couple weeks ago. That's a squash plant, I believe. Yep, that's a squash. Those are a couple of watermelons. And I've got some of them in the garden too. So got some plant starts that I bought, and I also bought some peppers. Here's something that's exciting. Look at those potato plants. They're just huge. I read that they were easy to grow, but I didn't realize they were quite that easy. They're doing just fine. They're even starting to make flowers. Let's see one here. Can I see they're starting to make flowers? Here's another one. This one's actually even better. Look at that flower. Isn't it nice? So at any rate, got a bunch of flowers on the potted potatoes. This greens bed I was just harvesting. See if I can get a better angle so the sun's not quite in the way, but you can kind of tell where I've been cutting them up. So that's what it looks like after I've cut. And I'll just take you over here to this section. Trying to block the sun, sorry. The sun's really bright this morning, but that's kind of what it looked like beforehand. It's nice and full, really healthy looking. Then I just pretty much cut it down. So I'm working my way around this section. I cut some out of the main part of the garden too. There's my pot that I've been using. So that thing is almost full. I'll finish cutting the rest of that up here in just a little bit. See if I can get around the garden before the sun pops up too high. This was bed number 1 where I had the radishes. As you see, I've cleaned it completely up, and there's just the squashes in here now, and my Malabar spinach. Lots of seeds starting, so I have to thin that out some, but I have plenty of Malabar spinach and plenty of squash in this bed. Moving on. Oh, and I forgot to get the chard in this bed. So I need to come back here and grab this chard. There's some chard in this bed. I also have planted some peppers. So that's a hot pepper. I think that's a chili pepper. That's another one. And these are all plant starts I got. That's a jalapeno plant. That one's a California Wonder Bell. That's another big bell pepper. I can't remember what variety off the top of my head. And this is like those miniature, small, sweet bell peppers. I've got a few peppers. I don't know if you can see, there's a few peppers already on them. So that's all going real well. I've also got, you probably saw this purple guy here. That's a purple basil. There's another basil plant right there. So that'll be exciting to have in this bed. Peppers and basil grow well together. So we're going to see how that works out in this bed. Moving on. I had some volunteer dill come up. So that's been nice in this bed. Of course, I've got the garlic in all three beds, and they're starting to scape up. I don't know if you can see that little scape there. I'm actually going to leave them on this year. In past years, I've cut those off in an attempt to get bigger bulb sizes, but as I've been researching and reading, that's not necessary. So I'm going to let the scapes get real big, because that's one of my favorite things out of the garden, believe it or not. Love garlic scapes. So let that harvest up. The greens, they were in here, but I cut them earlier. So that pot that you saw, that's why this is all cut up, because all the greens are in the pots. Chives are doing fine, and everything else in this bed is good. This bed is a mess right now. It's just a hot mess. It's got the arugula that has gone to flowers, gone to bolt. The carrots are fine in the back, so that's not a big deal, and the garlic is fine. Again, it's scaping up. But this arugula and the spinach is down here. It just needs to go. I need to get it out. I need to plant something else in here. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming soon, as I need to get that going. And this bed over here, I planted one of those watermelon starts. So you can see this guy right here is plenty happy there. I put one of my squash plants here. I had to break down and get me some plant starts for the cucumbers, because the bugs kept on eating them up. So got some bigger starts, and they actually left these alone. Got the same thing going on down here, and some more cucumbers there. There's another squash plant I put in this bed, and then wanted to show you this oregano bush real quick as the last thing. I don't know if you guys remember the last time, but I started snipping off the tops. I'm going to see if I can show you. I snipped off, you can see I snipped off the top there, and what it did is it forced the lower branches to start growing. So you can see these two started growing up stronger and taller, and even these ones down here started to stretch and branch out, which should give me a lot more yield for the bush. So you can tell it's just gotten so much bigger. That's just a couple weeks after having it been snipped. So it recovered well, and it's starting to branch out the way I want it to, and it is stretching out. So I'm hoping it takes over this whole area, and I'm hoping eventually in a couple years that it just takes over the entire bed, and I'll have one giant bed of oregano, and that'd be great. You can sell some at markets and what have you. Alright, that's the garden update so far. I apologize for the video quality. The sun's coming up in the background, so I know that it might have been hard to see some of it, but that's my garden update. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hit that like button, subscribe so you can see more.